then.
Later, man. GG.
GG's, man. See
Take
ya.
care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. So, welcome back to the 20th anniversary celebration for the original release of Devil May Cry 3. Once again, my name is DE Cosmic, and we got Stub here to run Dante any % normal. What's up, Stub? How's it going, buddy?
Going great.
Awesome.
Gonna do my best to show off the run for everyone with the 20th anniversary.
I think you will kill it. On comms today,
you're gonna do great.
We have a waifu again, but I will be shutting up for the next hour or whatever it is, and Banhit and Yang will be taking over.
Hello.
What's up, y'all? This whole thing, by the way, is in part thanks to Yang, because she went into my DMs and was like, "So DMC3 is turning 20 like in a month. Are we doing anything?" And I went, sure." So then we threw this together. So thanks for the idea, Yang. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just to be clear though, all the effort was Waifu and Cosmic. I just
This is true.
put out the idea. So.
It's true. Yeah, the idea
I
was
do
all
shit.
yours. Yes, because famously after announcing this, Yang said, "And I got out of doing any work for it." So, yeah.
Living the dream.
Living the dream.
It's not even true though, because you're here commentating.
That's
so.
true. You did get to do some work. So
I mean, if this counts as work.
it does a little bit, you know.
To an
All right.
extent.
But we'll get into it now. We can stop bantering.
Yeah.
Oh, we can go on forever. Anyway, so I will count you down, Stub, and you'll go on Devil May Cry. Once again, chat, as always, we're going to do the good old 3, 2, 1 Devil May Cry. If everybody can just say Devil May Cry along with me when it happens, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. So, in 3, 2, 1, Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
Good luck, Stub. So we have DMC3 any % normal. We got Stub running it, who just very recently got a new PB and is in 4th place 3 days ago with a 56-47. He's the 4th person to be in the 56 club. I am excited to see some fresh gaming.
Very nice, very nice.
This time we get to see a Royal Guard in action as well.
Yeah, the Virgil only had one fighting style for that last run, Darkslayer, but Dante has a couple. He's got Royal Guard, Gunslinger, Swordmaster, Trickster, Doppelganger, and what's the other one? Quicksilver. That's the one that we never see.
Yep.
In this run, you're only going to see Royal Guard for like 99% of it, and then now, famously, we'll see a little bit of Doppelganger near the end. Brand new strat. Be very cool to see. Royal Guard is the main style here. We're using it. It allows you to block and parry attacks. It also lets you cancel pretty much any animation in the game whenever you want, because you can press the block button and Dante instantly goes to block. It doesn't really matter what he's doing outside of that. There's very few animations you can't cancel. And that's actually early on the biggest use of it, is where you're going to be using it to cancel animations, doing a thing called slash canceling, where he does 2 slashes and then cancels the animation so that he doesn't do the 3rd hit that knocks him away, and he can loop combos a little bit better. And then also blocking and countering attacks. You see Dante zoom through enemies and do massive damage. That's a perfect counter or a gold release that Stub is doing there, and that is extremely difficult. That is a 3-frame trick, which means he only has 3-frame window to hit it at 60 FPS, which is 1/20th of a second. The timing is super, super tight on that.
See, for me, Royal Guard is really what defines this run. It's just so flashy and stylish, and that's what you want in a Devil May Cry speedrun. It's just like, it's so cool to watch, it's so cool to do. I love it.
Yeah, it feels great, and it's super, super difficult. As you'll see up at the top left by the health bar, there is this glowing green ball. That is the rage meter. As Stub successfully blocks attacks, it's going to start glowing and charge up damage. And then when he does a release like he did there, it's going to do extra damage. And it does more damage the more that you charge up the rage meter. Right now, he starts with level 1 Royal Guard, so you can only charge 1 ball. But he'll get up to level 2 later, where he'll be able to charge even more. So you're going to see him going for as many of those gold releases as he possibly can, trying to do massive damage and group enemies together, while also canceling his animations to be able to do the right amount of knockback that he wants when he wants to.
Unfortunately here though, Stub did get an A rank in Mission 1, so he wasn't able to get Stinger for the beginning of Mission 3. So we probably have to do the rest of this level without doing Stinger, and then later, before Cerberus get the Stinger 2.
That was sick. He did a setup there found by Loner. Shoutouts to Loner, where he hits those 2 slots into the wall. Then he waits for the 3rd guy to teleport and attack, and he hit a gold release off of it, which had stored charge because of the blocks that he did previously. And so these really tanky enemies in slots got completely decimated, as they did just there, by this epic gold release. Some gaming is occurring, as you can see. The combat's a much slower pace.
Really good as well.
Yes, yeah.
Still somehow slower than Virgil, though. Despite the insane grouped up chunk damage.
Yeah, so it takes a lot more effort to be able to do the higher DPS, and relies on enemies doing things that are fortunate for you, like attacking and stuff. Whereas with Virgil, you can just take the fight to them always. Royal Guard is supposed to be a bit of a defensive style, and with using it to cancel animations, you can make it much more offensive, but at the end of the day, you can't release attacks if the enemies don't attack you. So a lot of the times, the Royal Guard like blocks and releases that you're going to see Stub do here are going to be stuff that's scripted at the start of a fight as enemies spawn, because enemies almost always instantly attack you as they spawn. Then after that, it's random. Anytime you see him block or release an attack that happens like during the middle of a fight, that's almost always adaptation that isn't planned for, which allows for a lot more like really cool freeform moments where your like reaction time and your personal skill at Dante's combat in particular, it really gets to shine, which is super cool about this category.
Good fight.
Nice.
Yeah, that was basically a perfect Cerberus fight. Huge on the building of the guard there, and then the release on the headbutt. Stub did grab a orb ore, and that was just to make up for the orbs that he lost on the S-Rank on Mission 1. He shouldn't have to collect any more orb ores for the rest of the game. That's a really recent development. If he had gotten the S-Rank on Mission 1, he just wouldn't collect any at all.
Now with the addition of Stinger 2, that'll be Dante's main movement for the rest of the run, and with the help of Royal Guard, he can cancel the recovery animations, then go straight into Stinger again.
Yeah, as you'll see here, you can go around. Now we have shotgun as well, which you can use the shotgun cancel. Again, pressing guard cancels the recovery animations of most attacks. That goes doubly for the shotgun. Pretty much as soon as the bullets come out of the shotgun, you can cancel the animation. And looping this back and forth does insanely high DPS. We also now have Cerberus, a new weapon, which allows us to switch cancel. Switching back and forth between weapons cancels some of the recovery on attacks. So instead of spamming the same combo with Rebellion, it's faster to do 2 slashes with Rebellion, switch to Cerberus, do slashes there, and then switch back. And then again here, we're going to be hopefully seeing Gigazip, one of the only glitchy skips in Devil May Cry 3, where there is a zip. So if you do a gold release on the edge of a surface, then you can... Ooh, there it is.
Nice.
You can get a zip, which basically just means that the game doesn't slow you down and you just go right through walls. This room happens to be connected to the end of the level, which is attached to picking up that item. And so by standing on the edge of the railing and then gold releasing an attack while locking onto a different enemy, you can direct the zip to go through the wall and then land at the end of the level. And that skips the Gigapete boss fight as well as 2 other combat encounters and saves about 2 minutes in Dante's run.
I am unmuting to say, fuck yes, we got to do this. All right.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, it was very nice.
That trick is extremely difficult because it's really hard to save. The enemy that you're locking onto to get direction from, if he moves from that platform, then you basically just can't do the trick again. So like you have to hit it first try, or if you don't hit it first try, you have to do like some really particularly difficult setups to try to get another attempt at it. So huge flex from Stub, hitting it on the first rip.
This will probably be the only Jester fight in this run.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with just simple slash cancels and trying to get the health bar down to 0. Not too hard of a fight. Hoping that the RNG is good as well. Because some of the patterns are horrible.
You can't do enough damage to kill him in 0 cycles like you can with Virgil, so you're almost always going to get 2 attacks. I think that Stub here actually got perfect RNG, which is the circus attack in the center, because it's longer. If you have really good shotgun cancels on the in-between phases where you can do massive damage, then you can actually kill him before he does a second attack, which he almost did there. The combat is much more difficult and technical, but less actions per minute heavy in Dante. So in Dante, you're gonna see stuff that like requires a lot more timing and some more like technique, but isn't as like mashy. A lot of it's more about like timing your inputs correctly and doing the correct attacks at the right time, as opposed to Virgil where it's like just like dive kick, dive kick, dive kick.
It is really nice watching like the really high level players, watching them clear out rooms. They're just putting on a clinic, really. It's like they know every little thing and they just make all the randomness look so intended.
Yeah, you
I'm
can
always-
eliminate a lot of the randomness if
Yeah.
you do the combat the exact same way. But the earlier in the game that you are, the less damage output you have, so the more random stuff is. So like these earlier combat encounters are much harder to control. There's a lot more stuff that can happen that's just like not in your ability, because you just don't kill the enemies fast enough to shut down the conversation. They'll change though as we get Devil Trigger and other weapons. You get more and more control. There becomes less and less randomness.
Yeah, typical Capcom game structure.
I fucking hate this elevator.
I love this elevator.
Makes me mad. I lost to Simateus in the Peak of Darkness because I accidentally fell off this elevator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
We had beef.
that was dark. That was rough.
Salty about it still. But it's okay though.
No grudges.
So, yeah, no, totally. Smiley face. So, classic Capcom elevator. There's too many enemies on it at once. It'll fall back down. And so you're trying to avoid that. Really easy to do so. You see Stub building some royal guard here because you're basically just waiting, and that could be really useful for the boss. He's also trying to build orbs. By using Cerberus, he can hit all the enemies at once, which really builds style really fast. And the amount of style that you have dictates how many orb drops you get. So having a triple S rank makes the enemies drop more orbs.
And we've got Clink and Clank here.
It's a really good release. That really saves like so much time. Unlike Virgil, Dante has a really consistent way to counter those attacks. We're actually doing a release, but intentionally really early. He's doing it as early as possible so that the empty release is what parries the sword. If he does it too late, he'll accidentally gold release, which would do more damage, but it'll send him flying through the enemy and make it harder to keep them comboed back and forth.
See, this is where I always had the skill issue.
Oh no.
It's the one time I could ever do a gold release when I'm not
That's when you
supposed to.
don't want to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Nice save. The Agni and Rudra boss fight there, if you kill one of them and the other one gets away, then there's a 20-second long unskippable cutscene that plays where they combine and he gets some extra movesets and stuff. Really slow. So it's really nice that he got the kill there before they could combine.
And much more health as well.
Yeah, they become way more tanky.
Yeah.
I think they don't stun as like into anymore either.
Yeah, this one's like 4. It's actually one of those instances of there's difficulty adjustment in this game where if you die, things get easier. And with Agni and Rudra, you need to reflect their swords twice on normal to get them to lose their sword. But if you die, then they only need to be reflected once, actually, which makes the fight infinitely easier if you are dying.
Another cool thing about Dante that Virgil doesn't have is that he can surf on enemies, which is good for movement as well. Like that.
Yeah, that was really clean. That was sick.
Virgil's too cool for it.
It's way too self-serious, man. You see Virgil like free riding on an enemy? There's no way. Virgil never said woo in his life, bro.
He probably says it when no one's watching.
Maybe. He could be on a roller coaster and straight face the whole time.
On the outside. On the inside, he's going woo, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Nonchalant final boss.
No
So we
Artemis.
didn't get a needed weapon. Yeah, no Artemis. We'll see Artemis later though. Zerk's allowed to pick up Artemis for cake. But
It's a
we
shame
got a
there's
new
no
weapon.
use for it though.
Yeah, it's maybe one day. We got a new weapon. We got Agni and Rudra, and this is where the pace of the game is going to change a bit here, as Cerberus doesn't really have any good DPS. It's more like crowd control weapon. Agni and Rudra has some really good DPS on the jumping attack, and if you jump off of enemies' heads in this game, it resets your animations. It's called jump canceling, and you can do this to loop the aerial attack over and over again. And because it is an attack that does massive damage, and you can loop it like that, that's going to be our highest DPS for now. The downside to that attack is it sends enemies flying. So if you are doing it on enemies that can get knocked back, then they will get knocked back. Thankfully, on this mission, there are a bunch of enemies called greeds, which don't have the ability to be knocked back. And so you can just completely eviscerate them with jump cancels at Agni and Rudra.
See, jump cancels are where this game kind of lost me. I could never get good at them. I could do the Beowolf ones, not the Agni Rudra ones.
Yeah, that's the hard part about like the jump cancel and switch cancel tech, is that every weapon combination has different timings. So you like don't just have to learn one timing, you have to learn like 5 timings. It makes it much more difficult. Agni Rudra also has a much faster cadence to how you do the jump cancels than something like Beowolf, because the attack is really fast. Really good jump cancels there, doing work. Those greeds will spawn in extra enemies if you let them stay alive for too long, and that's not going to happen this run, I don't think.
I noticed he didn't get the orb cache on the
Yeah, I was just about to say.
post.
He doesn't need it because he's going to do doppel strats, so he doesn't need as much orbs, and he got the orb war on mission 3. So that gave him a bunch of extra orbs. Like, he did it to make up for the missing S rank, but the S rank only loses 2k, and you get about 10,000 from the orb wars usually. So he should be like totally fine for money. He can skip almost all the orb caches and orb wars for the rest of the game. That's the upside to doing the doppel route, is that you can skip like boss orbs, or you can skip orb caches and that kind of thing.
Are we going to address how Dante was floating in the elevator?
Style switcher thing. That's just a style switcher thing, I think.
Well constructed game.
Yeah, you need a mod to make it so that you can even use controllers on this PC game, and so one of the bugs of that mod is that during the scripted sections where Dante's being moved during a cutscene, he doesn't move because Dante does not care.
The funnier one later on in the run. I personally find it funnier than the elevator.
The gondola one, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good fight there. This is a super solid mission 7. He's got one more fight with the greeds, and there's gonna be a Vanguard, the mini boss from mission 3, or from mission 2 rather, sorry. And then he's gonna go fight Virgil, and Virgil's gonna be blue guy again. No more Vante.
Default settings.
Oh no, the stripper pole. The greens can only be jump canceled on their body. You can't jump off the coffin. And so that means that the way that they turn, being random, can make it really hard. You have to like, go around them to be able to jump cancel them. And that pole right there, if you attack nearby it, Dante like swings around on it and goes, woo! And you can jump cancel that off the greed. And so sometimes when you're trying to jump cancel that greed, he'll like turn towards the pole, so you like have to interact with it. And then Dante jump cancels while swinging and goes, woo, 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 which is hilarious, but also super slow.
And it does
Very
no
annoying.
damage. It's like a nice little casual playthrough Easter egg. You don't ever want to do it any other time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could do that on one of the Swordmaster moves as well. With Rebellion.
Oh yeah, Dance
That's Macabre.
Macabre,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Did the first Virgil fight, trying to mitigate the amount of attacks we're doing, but maximize the damage. Best way to do that is to jump cancel, and then he's doing these shotgun cancels in the middle while Virgil's recovering, and then building Royal Guard in the meantime. Fantastic fight. It was really good.
fight,
Oh,
yeah.
stylish. Oh, the finisher. triple S finisher gaming has occurred.
So he's been doing quite a bit of like little pause buffers. Is there like a big reason for that?
He's trying to skip the cutscene.
It's pausing too early for it.
Okay.
Yeah, pause is the same button to skip cutscene and also to pause the game. So when you're trying to skip the cutscenes really fast, you're often like anticipating them and then pressing, and he's just pressing too fast.
Yeah, it's like kind of like a muscle memory thing as well.
And also there's another instance where he'll be pausing that you might notice. Now he has double trigger since he's in mission 8. He has these runes and he's bought quite a lot of runes. With this route that we're doing now with Doppelganger, he's buying one less double trigger, one less purple orb than he would normally, because he's going to have a little bit less money and he's going to buy an extra purple on 9 instead. Every time you buy a purple orb, you get a DT refill, but that's not as useful in this game because at the beginning of every mission, you get a DT refill. So that makes it really niche to have sections where buying a purple orb would actually refill your DT and have that save time, because interacting with the shop in between in a mission is slow. But we will see that here once. And the other instance of pausing is he'll be using double trigger explosion, where he holds down the double trigger button and then it'll charge up the DT and he'll eventually let that go, doing a big explosion, doing massive damage. But if you charge that up and you don't actually want to use it, you could pause the game and then let go, and then you'll not have it charge anymore. That's like the other instance that you'll see him pausing on. Is like if he muscle memories to charge DTE but doesn't actually want to, you pause the game and then let go, and you won't waste your double trigger. Here's that retina room. He's doing that strategy I was talking about earlier that guarantees you get this opening quickly. I recently learned, because of that strategy actually, that rolling through dead bodies builds style and DT. I had no idea.
That's new. That's... Damn.
Yeah, I did not know that.
You know, when you said that in your record, I actually had to like backtrack about 10 seconds to watch you do it. I was like, wow, that's neat.
Yeah, I didn't know that at all. I think C. Mateus had like factored that into that strat for that room, and I didn't even know because I was doing the strat without the roll, and it wasn't working, and I was like really confused as to why.
It was just rolling regardless, because I knew it increased the style, but I didn't know it increased the DT as well.
Yeah, I think it has to do with proximity of enemies. Like if you're close to enemies, it'll build DT.
Oh, I see.
Kind of like jump canceling does. So here we have Leviathan. I think someone here could talk about.
Oh yeah. So what he's doing here is called Van Hart. You hit the right side, sorry, which would usually take all your DT. So once you take the right side out, it'll open up the middle.
No.
And
what a save!
Oh, what a save! Yeah. So, while taking out the right side, he'll build up DT, and once the middle opens up, he'll run to the middle, double trigger explode, and then un-DT so he can build back the DT while switch cancelling. And while he's switch cancelling, the goobers from that stage will attack him, and he'll gold release to build back that DTE, and then once it charges up back to like 4 to 6 stocks, he'll explode again and then kill that Leviathan.
Yeah, that's a pretty new strategy. Banhart here came up with it. Really cool. That works in a very similar way to like the way the rolling function does. I didn't know this for a long time, and it's super useful now. But the way that DT is built in Devil May Cry 3 is literally 1-to-1 with damage dealt. So if you do damage, you get 1-to-1 that damage as DT. And so if you do a gold release, for example, that does massive damage. It's like one of the most damaging things you could do in the game. That can instantly give you like 4 or 5 stocks of double trigger, which is how you're able to build the DT back so fast that you can do another explosion twice in the same fight.
So is the strat, because we have one less DT rune, is it like way harder now?
It's a little bit harder. It's not so much harder though. This is a zip, another zip. This is just like mission 4, except for this one is random because this Enigma has to hit you, and his aim is complete dog shit. So we're aiming across the gap here at the other Enigmas and standing at a certain spot of the stairs so that when we get a gold release, it'll make a zip and we'll go down. Nice job. There it is. That only saves like 20 seconds, so you probably actually broke even there. But really cool. Glad he showed it off. Yeah. Yeah, for the culture, exactly.
Shame
You
on
can-
anyone who doesn't do
Let's
that.
see Mateus. But you can actually pretty much guarantee that you'll get a good zip as long as you have DT going into that room. If you have perfect movement, that first attack from the Enigma is almost always going to hit you. And I think that's because you're moving. And so like the Enigma is more likely to hit you when you're moving. It's like it just aims better. And so that first hit is more likely to get it. If you miss the first one, then it's pretty rough. Here we see Stubby fighting the spiders. Spider is much more annoying to fight as Dante. They like to really jump around, and the jump cancel hitbox is hard to maintain. You're gonna be seeing, this is the most random mission in the whole game, easily, and it's because the spiders do all sorts of crazy shit and you can't control them. You have potential to have some insanely fast fights. You see he's blocking the door here to get release, and then hopefully he's trying to get it so that the door will attack him and he can counter it and kill all the spiders at once. The fastest possible strat there would be to have all the spiders near you and then release the door and kill them all, but it's super unlikely. I think like even in world record pace runs, like even my best mission 9, I could probably save like 30 seconds on this mission just from spider fights alone, because you have to get super lucky for those encounters. This is like the make or break run in a world record pace run, easily, because the spider fights and also the zip. It makes it so there's like almost a whole second of time save here that's almost completely random. Again, though, like the better you are, the less the randomness matters. Like you can adapt and make things work, even if you don't get the best possible luck. But still, like there's only so much you can do on this mission.
So running this game has actually made me like the spiders more. Just, I don't know, there's something about them. I used to hate them. I kind of like them now, though.
They're fun to fight if you use Royal Guard. I feel like that's probably what it is. Like, because they often will like parry your attack and then immediately jump back at you. And if you're using other styles, there really isn't much you could do, right? But if you're using Royal Guard, you could turn that into an opportunity to do more damage. We're getting a 2-cycle fight here, hopefully, on Nevin. See Dante taking every opportunity to parry every single attack that shows up, whether it's the floor or a spin move from Nevin, so that you can build up that double trigger and also that release. You have to have really good combat there to be able to get a 2-cycle, so good job from Stubby. Also, you'll see that Nevin falls over when he attacks her, and that's because the first attack you do after she loses her shield dictates whether she falls over or not. If you do an attack that has a lot of stun, she'll fall over, so like a 5 or 6 stock DT or higher will cause her to fall over, or shooting her with the shotgun will cause her to fall over, or aerial cross with Agni and Rudra. If you don't do that, then you get a lot less damage in, because she is vulnerable for less amount of time. So in order to get that 2-cycle, you pretty much have to knock her down and also have full DT and full release for both phases of the fight. One of the harder 2-cycles in the game, for sure.
I've only ever gotten it like once, I think.
It's super hard because you get mad punished for missing any of your blocks. Like if you miss one, then like now you don't have any DT and also you don't have any guard, and now you're far away from her and she probably start doing different attacks. It's pretty scripted if you play it perfectly, but if you make any mistakes, then it's an adaptation time. Ooh, I like that a lot. This mission is really straightforward. Pretty much all you do is fight these dual hands, and then you fight one group of spiders. You're waiting for that door to open so you can block the environment to build Devil Trigger and also to build guard. It's primarily used here to build guard so that hopefully Stubby will be able to use that guard to instant kill the spiders in this next required combat encounter. But I like how in between the dual-can kills he built guard instead of doing it after. Just saves a little bit of time. Really tight timing there to fit that in. It's cool.
Yeah, going off of that, literally anything and everything is blockable in the game except for the acid in Mission 8.
That was really unlucky. He gold released the baby spider's attack, but he was just out of range from the big spider. And because he released the opposite direction, it didn't hit the baby spider either. So neither of them got hit by the release, but this is a good recovery. Yeah, anything except for the acid floor Mission 8. That's the only thing that you can't parry. But yeah, like door hands, these little tiny baby spiders that explode on you, you can block those too. Good luck doing it, but you can. And then like environmental objects, that sort of thing. Really good for building Devil Trigger and also release.
think even if you did parry those little tiny spiders, it would give you very little meter back. So
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does give you very little.
I think that happened to me like one time during a run.
Yeah, you're like trying to parry the door. That's usually what
Yeah.
happens. And then you accidentally parry the baby spider.
Oh. Had trouble
I
getting it off.
I like how it's faster to actually kill the enemy in the way and then to keep using Stinger. That's only somewhat true. You saw Stub here trying to do it. There's tech in this game called reversals. And you can do a Stinger in any direction, even if there's enemies in the room. But in order to do so, you have to do a reversal, which means that you do the inputs for a Stinger, but then like okay, if you're doing a Stinger, it's like triangle and lock on with forward, right? So you have to do triangle and forward, and then the next frame press lock on, and then let go of lock on and change directions. So it's frame perfect to like basically you're tricking the game into not making you use lock on to do a Stinger. And it's really, really difficult. You'll see it in some really niche scenarios. Stubby at the beginning of this mission was trying to do it so you can get a Stinger jump off of the little blade there, away from the Enigma. But because it's frame perfect, it's really difficult, and he ended up just like stingering into it a couple times. You'll see it in a few locations where you don't have DT, so you can't DT run, and also there's enemies in the room, but you just want to leave. You'll see top level runners going for it in occasional spots, but it's really difficult. No one has it like super consistent. I think probably the best person with reverse stingers is Frenchie, and even he would like often mess them up.
It's more like an if you're feeling lucky sort of tech.
Yeah, or like you're doing an IL and you like really want to squeeze out like a second in a room or something.
You said IL and Chris's ears just perked up in chat.
Yeah, any Demon Pre-enjoyers doing reverse stingers.
Up there's the little bug there.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. Onto just standing on air.
very reminiscent
He's
of
just
the
standing there.
the RE4
menacingly.
jet ski thing. You just leave Ashley behind.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
So those Devil Trigger explosions are completely essential to getting some really fast wave clears in these fights where you like, there are certain fights where you're locked in a room and you kill enemies, and then after those enemies are dead, more enemies spawn, and then you kill those and more enemies spawn. You're just kind of stuck there. Those are the rooms where Devil Trigger explosion is the most useful, because you can build it up ahead of time and then just kill everyone at once as soon as they spawn, which is what he did at the beginning of this room, and he did there as well. It's also particularly useful for a bit of tech called a wave despawn, which we're going to see a couple of in the next mission. I'll explain that when we get there, because we're going to be fighting Beowolf, and this is the coolest quick kill in the game, I think. So we're going to see Stubby building up some guard and jump canceling Beowolf's eye, and then hopefully doing a gold release on the eyeball specifically so that he can instantly kill the boss.
Oh, beautiful.
Massive damage. Yeah, he missed a couple of the jump cancels, so he didn't get the perfect quick kill, but he did hit the release for the massive damage. That was a really, really good fight. So now that we're in mission 12, those despawns are going to become relevant, and once again, we have unlimited Devil Trigger for this mission, but our health is constantly draining. Not going to matter too much, honestly, on the health drain aspect until a bit later, but it is going to help with some extra damage and some extra speed. So like I said, there's rooms where you have waves of enemies that come in, but you can trick the game into skipping some of those waves of enemies by killing all of the enemies in the previous wave at certain times. So what we're going to see Stub try to do here is he's going to kill these first 3 enemies, and then he's going to kill one. Oh, actually, he's doing the faster one. Okay. So he's going to kill those 3 enemies and then set up here and try to build release so that when this Enigma starts to go off screen, he kills these 2 enemies. And that causes a wave skip. So there's supposed to be a bunch of lusts that spawn there and another wrath, like the big explodey dude. But because he did that at the right time, the game gets confused and skips those extra spawns. He was supposed to do it there as well with the 2 sloths while that Enigma goes off the screen, but he missed it, so he got those extra spawns. The despawns here save like 10 seconds each, but are really difficult. I think mission 12 is the hardest mission in the run, as Dante personally, because of those despawns and also the boss fight later in the level. That was really cool. I like that new the newer despawn. I was expecting a different one for the first wave.
I feel like the first despawn is usually pretty consistent, especially if you're going for the slightly slower version. It's just the second one, me personally, I have a lot of trouble doing.
Yeah, so Stubby used his release for the first one, which made the second one a lot harder. I personally use a release for the second one, which I think makes that one a lot easier. But I also didn't do this faster version of the first despawn that Stubby did.
I always forget the despawns work on HDC. For some reason, I always think they're OG exclusive.
Yeah, they're both. Like it gets confusing because there's two different types of despawns. Like what we just saw is a wave despawn where he despawns a whole wave of enemies. And then there's also a glitch that happens on the OG PC port, which most of the high level runners play on, where enemies can just completely disappear. And that's also called a despawn. It's just bad naming conventions. The one where they just disappear happens completely randomly and has nothing to do with like when you kill enemies. But also only happens on OG PC port. It doesn't happen on HD Collection.
See, I die in this room uncomfortably often as well. It's tricky. The camera is not very friendly here. You have almost no health coming in here. And then you have a Vanguard that just goes crazy when you aren't good.
Yeah, it's scary. That's why you focus the Vanguard first and hit the JCs on it to try to kill it. But if you don't have super good JCs, then you'll probably run out of health first.
Yeah. You can't parry the DOT, unfortunately.
Yeah. Here we go. The horse fight. You might remember this boss from Dark Souls 2. I think one of the most difficult bosses in the game. We're going to be seeing the Frenchie strat here, I believe. The first phase, we're just trying to get through as fast as possible, get to a damage threshold. In the second phase, Stubby's going to be looking to release both the carriage and the horse. Oh, Lord. That was a little scary. Yeah. He got stuck on the horse, so he wasn't able to stun lock it here. This is why this fight could be really scary. It's going to be really hard for him to adapt this, because he was hoping to stun it and then have the horse do a carriage spin, which would allow him to parry and then counter for massive damage. But now the horse is going to run straight at him and he has to stop it by hitting it in the face. And then every time after he does damage, it's going to teleport away, which is going to make it really hard to do this quickly.
Oh no. Unlucky.
That's super rough. That's a super, super rough boss to die on. Not only because like it's slow.
As well.
Yeah, goddamn, that sucks. But like the boss is gonna be harder now because earlier I mentioned the damage or the difficulty adjustment that this game does on some of the bosses, where like on Agni and Rudra it makes them easier, right? It's supposed to make this boss easier as well, but it does so by making the boss not do the carriage spin, which actually makes the boss way easier. The carriage spin makes the boss way easier. So the fact that now that he's died, it's not gonna do that makes this boss insanely difficult. So this is going to be interesting. He's going to have to do some OG strats where he's not going to be able to do that release or not to stun lock the boss. Doing enough damage causes him to just fall over, which is great, but this right here, he's going to teleport. Normally he would do a carriage spin there, which you could use to build... Wow, I cannot believe that hit.
Yeah, it was so far away.
Nice hitbox. Yeah, normally he would do a carriage spin, which you could then build guard off of and then counter and to kill. But instead here, you just do this. That was a really good adaptation.
Yeah,
Good
that
job,
one was
Stubby.
even more questionable.
Yeah, what this Helmbreaker hitbox is wild. Hidden from behind. Good save though.
Yeah, Dante's just that guy.
It's just him. Doesn't really matter where he swings the sword. It just hits enemies. It's fine. Good save on a mission 13. Cosmic Saver mission. You can see some DT management with the explosions. Like I said earlier, the earlier in the game you are, the more random the encounters are because you have less tools. Now that we have these jump cancels that we can do whenever we want and also Devil Trigger Explosion, a lot of these fights become way more scripted. Like this fight is almost completely scripted. He unfortunately didn't get one of the JCs, so he didn't have enough DT to get the full kill there. Yeah, grab these orbs for safety. These orbs give you enough orbs to be able to get the S rank on this mission, which he shouldn't have to do, but because he died there, he's a little bit worried about his orbs. It's going to give him a worse rank on the previous mission. Even though he's doing Doppelganger strats, he wants to make sure that he has enough money for the Holy Waters at the end of the game. It'd be really bad otherwise.
There's no no strat for a 2 Holy Water Arkham yet.
Not yet, no. I maybe one day, you know. But it's actually not even that. I think you could easily afford the 3 Holy Waters, but you also need to buy 2 Devil Stars. So you do need a little bit more money than just the 3 Holy Waters. Coming up, we're gonna have the Virgil 2 boss fight, which I think hardest Virgil fight in the run. He's got a crazy mix-up. Yeah, for sure, because the mix-up, right? Like
Yeah.
he has
Especially parrying the Bale moves as well.
Yeah, that right here, that 1-2 uppercut and then attack, downward attack. That's a mix-up. It starts off the same 2 attacks, but then it could be different attacks. Oh wow, he went for the super fast. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, it makes it really hard to know how to parry his attacks because the 2 openers are the same, but then the other 2 attacks are random. So you just have to pure react, and you don't have very much time.
I find it very validating to have high-level runners tell me how difficult it is.
Yeah, it's super hard. It's easily the hardest attacks to parry in the game, I think. And you get completely tossed like this if you don't get it, so it's scary.
Very punishing.
Stub is a complete mad lad. He went for like a crazy fast cycle that no one actually does in full game. I'm curious now if he did that in his PB. You're supposed to get Virgil to just above the HP where he Devil Trigger, and then do enough damage that you skip that phase. But instead of setting that up, he went for a gold release that would then just like instantly skip it without having to do an extra set of attacks. Unfortunately, he missed the gold release, so he wasn't able to get the quick kill that way. But actually mad lad for going for it. That's wild. I didn't think anyone besides Heist even like thought about doing that. But GG, recovered, didn't die. Poggers.
Still got the S.
We take those. Yeah, still got the S rank. That's good. Now he's gonna go and pick up Beowolf. Little bro forgot his shoes when he went outside. It's usually the opposite. You're supposed to take off the shoes when you get inside, but I won't judge.
Sweet new pair of kicks.
Yep, equip those, Beowolf, and buy a Holy Water and some Purple Orbs. I believe that Stuby actually opted to not buy the Purple Orb on Mission 9, and he buys it here instead. So you had 1 less Purple Orb than you would have in a more traditional route up to this point, but now he's maxed out. You have maximum Devil Trigger here. Oh,
Wait, did he just freeze through the floor?
He's in the floor. I've never seen that before.
Me neither.
Luckily, it doesn't soft lock you anything, right?
No, I think that if you dive kick in that elevator, you do soft lock. I've heard that, but I've never done it because I'm not afraid. I don't want. I don't want to soft lock.
Wait, that can happen?
I think so, yeah. Just on HD or just on PC though. I think like just with the because of the style switcher bug where you like stand still.
Yeah.
I think that's what causes it. Nice scripted Doulahan fighting here. If you kill them ASAP, then there isn't much opportunity for them to run away. Stub did do that Virgil 2 strat in his PB. Actual Giga Chad. That's crazy. It doesn't even save that much time, but it's way harder, I feel.
Well, you find that with the MC3 runners, they're all certified gamers. They don't run this game unless they're really confident in themselves. That's how I feel.
I think you just build up that confidence over time, honestly, just by playing more. It takes a long time. A lot of these runners that are like on the higher end of the leaderboard have been playing for a long time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it because they don't stream Stubby Madge, but the MC3 definitely not one of those games where you can just jump into and get a good time though. It takes quite a bit to get in there. Okay, this is the hardest room in the game, in my opinion. This is the most difficult combat encounter in the game, and that's because the DT management and the Royal Guard management here are super precise. So he's waiting for a very specific moment to start charging his Devil Trigger explosion, so that when these enemies spawn in, he can kill them all at once. But he needs to make sure that he has as much DT left over as possible, so that he could then charge again, so that when he gets to the next combat encounter, he has it stored. He also has to hit 2 perfect blocks here, so that he has enough release so that he can kill. And then DTE. Oh, unlucky. He was just out of range. The longer you charge DTE, the more range it has, as well as more damage. And then now he's going to release this attack to kill both of these enemies. Nice, that's a really hard release. And now he needs to build 2 more blocks. Very good.
Nice.
That was sick. Gaming is occurring. What a mad lad. Because that was really hard because the hitbox on that horse attack is actually really small, but you have to hit the horse that's doing the attack and the bishop on the side that's pretty far away, and also the other horse on the side. And killing all 3 of those with that release at the same time is super difficult. Getting those instant wave clears like that saves so much time though, because you can just instantly leave the room. Skipping the orb cache there. That's a Doppelganger route benefit.
Really
It
curious.
doesn't get the S rank.
Really excited to see this Doppelganger strat.
Yeah, it
Same.
should be cool. Hopefully it doesn't choke it. That'd be embarrassing. So Fallen, one of the most annoying enemies in the game. Really, really, really difficult to do well. But I have faith in Stubby here. I think he's gonna get it. Yeah, he's got using the door to really farm the DT and the release here. A little bit suboptimal. Dude flew away. That's a bit unlucky, but really, really good fight. It seems pretty random, but that fight is mostly scripted as long as you do your movement the exact same way. There's some really weird door tech that happens where like the door will attack you, right? And you can block to build guard, but it only attacks you once. And then if you don't move, it won't attack you again. It takes like a really long time. So you have to like roll in front of the door and move back and forth to keep baiting it into attacking you fast enough so that you can actually use the guard to kill the second Fallen. So this is mission 15. We're gonna be doing that 2-1-2-2 to skip that extra spider room and setting up for death warp later. If this run was record pace, would you know without a proper timer? Yeah, you would know. It's definitely not. The death on 12 is like a huge time loss, and also missing the despawn. Also, he grabbed the Orbor on mission 3, which is like another 10-15 second time loss. This is a really solid run. It could potentially maybe be, I was gonna say it could maybe be sub 1, but he died on the horse.
He lost like 20 seconds on 9 to the zip as well.
Yeah. Super, super solid run, but no,
Yeah.
definitely not record pace. This game is one of those games where like you can't crank out a performance like that on demand. Like you can get like a sub 105, you know, that kind of time, but getting anything lower than that would requires a lot of luck, but also like an insane amount of execution across the run. So being able to do that just on demand is like be crazy.
Not a whole double simulator kind of game.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on than holding W. So now we're gonna see Stubby taking some damage on purpose here to set up a death warp. Skip a bit of platforming, some backtracking. He built up some guard as well so that he can use the guard on the dial, make it a little bit safer. These blood goals can be really scary. He's trying to make it so that he doesn't die to them. If you die before you pick up the fragment, then you have to just do the room again, which is really, really bad. These blood goals can be very scary. But he has DT, and he also has a pretty generous amount of health, so he should be fine.
See, I like that he turned that one up top into stone. I should do that too. That was smart.
Yeah, it's really nice. That's like, you can definitely turn him to stone for free, and then it's just one less guy you gotta worry about, right? That's the moment where you find out if you've been playing on yellow the whole time.
Or in this case, we already knew, luckily, because of mission 12. Yay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, true.
I think I've done it once before, where I just like reset so fast and I misinputted in the menu at the beginning, and then I got there and I died, and it sent me back to the beginning of the mission, and I was like, oh, I guess I was playing on yellow.
Were you on pace though?
No, it was just a whatever
Okay.
run.
Okay. Well, at
Thankfully.
least at least
Yeah.
it can be funny and not a tragedy.
Minimum 1,500 hours to get like a top 10 time. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think I only have like 900 hours in this game.
Yeah, I have about like 500 on this game as well.
I think the amount of hours it takes to get good at a game like this, I think it really just depends on like how much you played it before, like speedrunning, and also like how you practice. Like if you just do like runs and just reset all day, then it's gonna take a long time to get better. But if you like sit there and like play like individual missions over and over again, like practice the strats a lot, and do no resets, then you get way better, like way faster. Same holy water strat we saw from the Virgil run earlier. Killing that first enemy causes one more enemy to spawn, and that last enemy that spawns is the last enemy that spawns. So you use a holy water and it kills all the enemies in the room. I think you leave instantly. We're gonna see the rook chess pieces now, which I think have one of the hardest jump cancel hitboxes in the game. We'll see if we can get some dive kick JCs off of them. Very nice. He has to build release for the lady boss fight at the end of this mission here. So he wants to leave this room with full release if possible. So he can't be using it here. He also
Wasn't
wants
this mission
52.
in part in the Demon Pre like a couple weeks ago maybe?
Yes, it was. We so if you don't know, we've been doing an event, a weekly individual level speedrunning tournaments for Devil May Cry, one of the first 3 Devil May Cry games. Every week we announce a new mission on Monday, and then you have a week to get the best time in that mission that you can, and you get points based on how fast you went. And those points add up over the 10 weeks. The week 4, I believe, was this mission. And we had Chris, got a 2:15, but Stubby had the fastest time for the majority of the week, actually. Until like right at the very end.
See, we just need to put like a little asterisk on everything. We like, oh, this was the fastest time except for Chris's.
Yeah, basically, at this point, yes. That's the column gold sheet on the wiki is like the best time that isn't done by Chris.
Did that week lead to any new strats for this mission though?
Yeah, none of which that I think that you're gonna see in this run. But actually, no.
I did see
This
Lona
strat-
lab
this
with
right
this
here.
fight, yeah.
Yeah, this is so instead of doing a 3 cycle, you get a faster 2 cycle here by doing a straight and then shooting Ebony and Ivory at Lady.
Nice.
That causes her to like always let you attack her again, instead of running away and then letting her attack and then attacking her again and doing that twice. You can now get like a consistent 2 cycle, which is really cool. There are some like alternate DT routing for explosions on some of the other parts of the mission, but they're random. So in a full game run, you're unlikely to see them being done. But yeah, I think Tata and Zerx helped find that strat, and then Loner put it on the wiki. It seems like definitely Stubby learned it, implemented it into full game.
Nice. It's nice to see people cooking. See
Yeah,
people
there's a lot of
eating.
cooking lately. Stubby been eating too. He's got a huge PB. Join the 56 club. I think he's gonna get records soon if he keeps playing, honestly.
You'll have to go back right as you got out.
I know. Hopefully I get DMC 1 first before I have to go back. Another highly scripted duel hand fight.
Oh, unlucky. Usually
So-
I'd go for the releases there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, are the releases not much faster there?
I don't know. In the old route, you didn't want to do the releases because you wanted the release for the orb ore. But he shouldn't be getting the orb ore. So I'm not entirely sure why not go for the releases. Maybe he just didn't feel comfortable with it. He also wasn't dive kicking in that room either, so I noticed that as well. Maybe he's just more comfortable doing it that way for whatever reason. The downside to going for the releases is if you mess it up, then you lose like a ton of time.
It's cool though. When you hear it.
Yeah, it's so
Sick.
cool.
You're like, it's so cool. Why not do it, Stuby? Come on.
Yeah.
We have the Doppelganger boss fight. We need this style from him, so we're gonna have to take it from him.
Oh, you missed the
Ooh.
block.
That should be fine. Yeah, you want to get him close to the light and then hit the light so that he is weak, and then you can punish him. We found out in the last couple of years that you can actually block that attack to build guard and use it on the boss.
Good fight.
Dunzo. Actually, interesting thing about Doppelganger, if you kill him with a release, you get to keep the release. It's not useful for anything because this is the last guy. He's the last enemy in the level, and your release doesn't transfer over from levels. But it does keep the release, which is interesting.
Yeah, interesting, but
Time to cook.
Yeah.
Mission 18, coolest mission in the level in the run, in my opinion. It's easily a banger, especially
yeah.
as Dante. Super cool. Using that holy water to activate the king so that you can do damage to him. And then hopefully getting a nice quick kill on the king.
Nice.
Building up that DT, keeping it high so the Cerberus boss fight you have double trigger. Then he's going to be equipping Agni and Rudra instead of Rebellion. This is the only time in the run that you don't have Rebellion actively. Rebellion is always useful because Stinger is the best form of movement. But Agni and Rudra is essential for the quick kills on all of these bosses except for Agni and Rudra. It does massive damage to Cerberus and also lets you hit all 3 heads at the same time. There is a little bit of an elemental bonus as well because it's fire and Cerberus is ice. Huge knockdown, really fast, just completely decimated. Doesn't even get to play the game. But also he keeps Beowolf equipped even though he's not going to use it for any of the bosses because Beowolf's DT has a modifier of like additional damage. So you just do more damage when in DT with Beowolf. And that's going to be useful for a gold release that he's going to do on Agni or Rudra. It's going to make it do a little bit more damage. And same with Beowolf. So before he does this release, he's going to switch to Beowolf so that it does extra damage.
I don't think he has Beowulf equipped.
Oh, he didn't do it. I lied. Fake news. Get scammed. He said, fuck Beowolf. I hate Beowolf.
Because usually you'd see the gauntlets and the...
Yeah, you're right. I totally missed that.
and he does have Rebellion on his back.
Yep.
Well, you could do that if you didn't want to make me look like a fool on commentary.
Yeah.
Damn you, Stubby. Anyways, he doesn't need the extra damage because he's a gamer. That was a perfect fight. Let's see if he gets that super fast kill on Beowolf here that he missed on the first encounter. Oh. Can he get the recovery? Nice. Blocking him causes him to stop running, which is great. Ooh,
nice.
That was a really good release. Fantastic recovery so far. Yeah, really good. If you're not going to get the release that kills, that's like your next best thing. That's right there. All right, 19. This is where we're going to do some never before seen content here. Actually using a style besides Royal Guard in the Devil May Cry 3 speedrun. Me and Stubby actually routed this out and figured this out, which is really cool. Shout out to Stub for that. So great that he gets to showcase it here. We are going to be using Doppelganger instead of Royal Guard for this mission because it's going to allow us to save a bunch of money over the course of the run by not having to get the orb ores and the orb caches. The downside is we don't have Royal Guard, but we end up not actually using it that much in this mission. Most of these enemies, it's fastest to kill them just by jump canceling anyways. And so you can use your DT to get really fast jump cancels with Beowolf. And Doppelganger can be used. If you don't know what Doppelganger does, it basically just creates a clone of Dante. where there's 2 of them and they mirror your inputs, so it doubles your DPS. Obviously, it has its niche uses. It's not useful in every scenario because it uses Devil Trigger to do Doppel. But here, where we need to break the mirrors quickly, saves a lot of time to Doppel here. Except he's not going to, XD. He's using DT instead. Also a valid way to do it. But you can use Doppel there, it saves a little bit of time. Mostly Doppel is used for the boss fight. The boss fight with Doppel allows you to do enough DPS to one cycle the first phase with only using 1 holy water. And that saves like 15 to 20,000 orbs over the course of the run, which is really, really useful. Saves a lot of time.
See, he's holding the Doppel back for the coolest possible moment.
Yeah, he's trying to get the grand reveal here.
That or he is just listening to the commentary and just doing everything opposite of awe of the thing dove.
Yeah, that's unlucky. The Double Trigger Explosion didn't hit him because he's diving. Yeah, he's listening to commentary and he's trying to do the things opposite of what I'm saying, obviously, to troll me. That's fine, though. It's your run, Stubby. Do what you want. But yeah, the Arkham boss fight, he will dive under the ground and you won't be able to hit him until you kill all of the dolphins and he comes back up, which is insanely slow. We're going to be skipping that by using a holy water and doing some very precise combat with Doppelganger. Doppelganger's additional DPS allows us to do enough damage to get that kill. This previously was not known to be possible consistently because the boss would die after a certain number of attacks, but it's found that if you let him do this attack and let him stand far enough away from him, then it's fine. That's a little scary that the crazy combo happens, but yeah, so backing up from him like that and waiting for a second allows him to do an additional attack, which keeps him up long enough that you can get the 1 cycle there by only using 1 holy water. This is marginally slower than using 4 holy waters for the fight, but it does save time over the course of the run because you collect less orbs. Nice fight. Really good showcase of that strat.
Yeah. Oh, and we got a nice new backdrop. Mission clear screen.
Final fight. We had just crossed over an hour in real time. This is a really solid run here. Gonna switch back to row guard for Virgil, of course. See if he can punish Virgil with his own medicine. The dive kicks to the face. We just watched about 50 minutes of dive kicks to the face, and here we are once again, coming full circle.
Virgil back where he belongs. Under Dante's shoe.
Ooh. Nice.
Hopefully he can get the kill here. Nice.
GG's.
GG's.
Damn, 101 flat. Sick. 101 real time is really, really good.
GG's.
I wonder if Stub was running splits. GG. Great showcase.
That was awesome. Hell yeah. Oh, let me undeafen him as well. There he is. What's
GG,
up,
Stub.
Stubby? Yeah,
GG's.
GG's, man.
GG's.
Good shit.
What a mess.
Classic speedrunner fashion.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's like, damn, that was sick. You're like, that was dog
Good
shit.
shit.
That's me. That's me every time.
Yep.
Me every time I PB.
It's only really the horse that really.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
horse is
Yeah.
rough.
Horse is just horse.
I slightly didn't
just
go
horse,
enough
yeah.
to the left, so he pushed me forward with him. So then he, jumped
yeah,
out.
It'd be like that.
But
Yeah,
hey,
it'd be like
Yeah.
that.
101
I mean,
real time.
great job,
Did you run
though, man.
splits?
Yeah, it's a 59, by the way. 59,
sick.
17.
Hell yeah.
GG, dude.
Mode.
That's huge.
GG.
Yeah. Good
With
job again.
Doppel, too.
You got
With
anything
Doppel.
you want to say,
Yeah.
or
I think that's about it.
yeah?
Happy anniversary, Devil May Cry 3. 20.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for doing the run.
this,
You did a
man.
great job.
Appreciate it. Yep, for sure.
GG.
All right, so we will get the third and final run of the day set up. Once again, thanks Stub for showing up and doing this. This category fucking rules. And we're gonna get Zerson here doing Dante Collect All, Kill Everything, or Dante Cake here in a moment. So don't go anywhere, and I guess we'll listen to some more Limp Bizkit or something in the meantime. So see y'all.